Hey, Judge,
No, it's not. It's just Kevin.
do you happen to get my invite sent to you?
And I'm gonna tell you, well, I don't want to be recorded while I'm saying this.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. Remember to like, subscribe, hit the notifications bell. See you later.
So we're gonna go this way. Let's see. Oh, there we go. See if it'll. There we go. Okay, I think we can see. Okay, let's see if anybody is on there. Okay, we'll just go ahead and start and hope people join.
Okay.
And then we'll have it uploaded and then you can share it and you can have it for you to listen. Okay, well, thank you for giving me the opportunity to get to talk to you about the district attorney race that you're in. And can you just, for somebody who may be new to the county, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you, Amanda. I know you're a busy mom and administrator, so I appreciate you giving up your time to do this. My name is Angela Albers, and I am the current Wood County Criminal District Attorney, and I've held that position now since 2019 when I was appointed by Governor Greg Abbott to that vacant position. And I got elected by the people of Wood County in 2020, and I'm up for re-election, early voting beginning on Monday.
Okay. So how long have you been here in Wood County, just as a resident?
Well, I moved here when my boys were babies. They were just a couple months old when I moved here, and they are now 15.
Wow, I know. They've grown a lot. They're such sweet boys.
They have.
Yes. Well, you know, I had the pleasure of serving with you in your office on grand jury this past year, and it was a very eye-opening experience. And so what are some common misconceptions that maybe people may have about how maybe the local judicial system works?
Sure. Well, I think there's quite a few, and I'll be honest, when I was a child, I didn't know what a district attorney was. So a lot of people don't unless they've been on jury service or if they've had a family member or a friend that's had legal issues. I guess one of the big things is that a lot of people think prosecutors decide what cases, felony cases, are handled or indicted, and that is not true. As you could say, Amanda, it's actually a group of Wood County citizens that decide what happens on which felony cases proceed.
Right. So that was a misconception that I had, and so I really appreciated just the history and, you know, how this works, of the breakdown of everything when I was in there. You know, one of the things that I wasn't sure of is exactly, you know, how cases get to the district attorney's office, and, you know, do you do investigations? And so, you know, for us that don't always know what's going on in the judicial system, can you explain how, you know, from a crime happening, how that might come to you?
Sure. So very rarely, I do have an investigator who's been with our office for about 14 years. But his job mainly is once we receive a case from law enforcement. The majority of cases come in through police agencies in Wood County, whether it be the Wood County Sheriff's Office or the local municipalities. So they bring their cases to us that they have worked and investigated, and they present them to us for prosecution.
Okay.
And the felonies would go to the grand jury, and then misdemeanors are handled by a prosecutor.
Okay. Very good. Well, I appreciate you clearing that up because, you know, I wasn't sure how everything worked, and it was neat to see that firsthand and to be a part of it. You know, I see one of the things is that we, as a county, as members of this county, is that we all have to work together to provide justice, and you, as district attorney, have a huge piece of that. And can you tell us a little bit about your team that you have in your office?
Sure, and I forgot to add this about the other question is, so our investigator is really, he helps us if we need to get prior convictions or if we need to get other documents. He doesn't go out and investigate the cases.
Okay.
He really just helps fill in some of the gaps.
Okay.
So we typically do not investigate cases. They have to be sent to us from a law enforcement agency. And what was your question?
Oh my goodness. Was how,
Oh, my team.
yes, your team. I'm so sorry. I went blank. I got back into your answer.
Well, I've been a prosecutor for my entire career. It'll be, it's 21 years already. It'll be 22 years in June. Is when I started in 2000. And I have 4 assistant attorneys that help me. I've got my first assistant, and I've got 3 other prosecutors. We all kind of just rotate around. We do felony court, district court. In fact, I was in there today with one of my assistants. We had a felony jury trial this week. And we also handle, Ms. Key handles CPS and misdemeanors and juvenile cases.
Okay.
We also handle mental health commitments, traffic tickets, every criminal case from a traffic ticket all the way up to a murder.
Okay.
Our office handles. And we also, we go to a commissioner's court and advise the commissioners.
Okay.
We also help elected officials, other officials that may have legal questions. We handle the public information requests for the county. So we handle a lot for just 5 attorneys.
Absolutely.
It's busy.
Talk to me a little bit about your community service and community involvement. I know that you and your family have served in many capacities, both in local church and then even beyond our Wood County area. So talk about why community service is so important to you.
Well, it is, and I try to teach that to my children. I have 3 children, twin boys who are 15, and then my daughter's 11. And I call us a team, me and my children, and we usually do team things together. For example, I host a softball tournament for first responders. I've done it twice now in October, and it's to raise awareness for domestic violence, to let the public know about the atrocities of domestic violence. And we also raise money. We pick a Wood County charity. We've raised over $15,000 for 2 Wood County charities, the Northeast Texas Child Advocacy Center in Winsboro and the East Texas Crisis Center, which assists victims of domestic violence. I'm also involved in the Mineola Kiwanis Club, the Quitman Pilot Club, and the Winsboro Rotary Club, to name a few things. And my children and I are active members of the Sand Springs Baptist Church.
That's great. I know it's very important, for kids to learn young how to give back to their community. So thank you for leading in that with your life with your kiddos. Another question I have is, what do you feel like since you've been appointed in this position and then elected, what do you feel like is your greatest accomplishment as the current district attorney for Wood County?
Well, my number one goal when I was appointed was to rebuild relationships with law enforcement.
Okay.
We are on the side of law enforcement. I like to say we're a team. So if I can assist them and make communication better with them, I essentially went around to all the agencies in the county with my investigator and asked them, what can I do to earn your trust? Several things that we did are I gave them my personal cell phone number so that the chiefs and the sheriff could call me anytime they need to. They know it doesn't matter if it's 2 in the morning, they can call me and I'll answer. I hosted a law enforcement appreciation dinner for them.
Okay.
We have quarterly meetings with the police chiefs and the sheriff, and we talk about issues and about better ways that my office can serve.
Right. So I know that you've done some ride-outs as well with the different agencies. Tell me what you've learned from that.
Yeah, so I also started a no refusal weekend where my staff and I, the assistant attorneys, will actually ride along with police on a holiday weekend, and that weekend no one is allowed to refuse a breath test. So if they're stopped for suspicion of drunk driving, then we will get a blood or breath test from them. I learned a lot about that. I learned that it takes a long time to investigate a DWI case, and because I saw the amount of time and effort the officers were putting in there, I made a commitment to them that once it gets to my office, we're going to make sure that it's prosecuted appropriately.
That's great. After serving on the grand jury, I was amazed at the amount of intoxication that's on our streets. And so I think that that's a great perspective to have, that to keep our citizens safe, that's an important step that we have to keep everyone, on the streets, our families safe, and also our officers. We want to support them.
Right. Well, we've all read the terrible stories lately. I know I read about a police officer in the Dallas area who was out Christmas shopping with his family and was hit and killed by a drunk driver. So I want to do my part to make sure that doesn't happen here, or at least if it does, that they're handled appropriately.
Sure. So moving forward, I know we've got the primary starting on Monday, and so it's going quickly, but what is something that you feel like maybe new citizens may not know about you that you think is important to know? Sometimes they see a woman and they may think that, oh, she may not have enough power, she may not have enough gumption, she may not have enough, fire behind her. But I saw that when I was in the grand jury serving, and I've also seen you by working with your kiddos as a mom, and it was interesting to see your career face and your mom face. And while they both had a different passion behind them, what do you feel like is something that makes you set apart for this position?
Well, I like to say sometimes with my friends, I'm tiny but mighty. I know I act like a lady, and I try to speak like a lady, but my number one thing about me that everybody should know is that I'm first and foremost a Christian. I'm a follower of Christ, and so that kind of dictates everything else in my life priority-wise. And if I'm following after Christ, then I will be treating people fairly, with respect, and honorably. And then when you mention the situation with my children, I back up the teachers, because they need to learn authority and how to submit to that authority.
Well, thank you. As an educator, thank you. That means a lot, because we have that scrutiny a lot of times. When we were talking about the justice system, and I've never really understood, because I don't have a background in law, is the scales, and how that it's not just the law and it's a hard cut line, but there's also a grace and humanistic part of that. Can you talk about when you're not investigating, but when you're preparing to prosecute these cases, how do you weigh that?
Well, and I had the privilege of speaking at Alba Golden Career Day, and I had one of my slides as a picture that justice is blind. And that's really how I feel, that prosecutors and police have a great deal of discretion. And so I have made a commitment, especially on some drug cases. I have partnered with the Mercy Mansion and Gideon's Restoration in Winsboro for having people that maybe have not had a run-in with law enforcement before, or maybe they're a young person, trying to get them the drug treatment that they need to turn their lives around. Right. So we have, again, discretion is really our biggest tool.
Sure.
And so we try to look at each case individually and decide what is appropriate in this case. Right.
And so one of my prior misconceptions was that you decided who went to trial and who did not, and that's the place of the grand jury. And that's why I think I was fascinated with that, to see just how intricate and how important it is that we have people show up even for jury duty, to help serve the community. And one of the things that I noticed with that is that every case, whether it was drug or assault or anything, was treated differently, and you could not just batch them all together. And so that was one of the things that I really appreciated about you and your team, was that we couldn't just jump to a conclusion and say, well, this is a drug charge, let's send them, through the ringer, but it was, okay, here's the details, here's what we need to do. And I've really felt like neither you or your team ever tried to sway us one way or the other. And I appreciated that as a Wood County citizen, is that I felt like we truly have the say as a grand jury whether to send somebody through or to no bill,
And that's right. And a lot of people, I've heard this saying before in my 20-something years, that a grand jury will indict a ham sandwich. And I think you could say that's not true.
Right.
Because really, and I was taught this at a young age, back when I started out in Rockwall County, that it's really the role of the grand jury to decide.
Sure.
And so I've tried to teach my team that you just present the case as we have it, and you let them make the decision. Because really, that is the first part of justice,
Right.
is does this group of citizens from the county think that there's enough evidence to proceed?
Right. And I appreciated what was brought to us because I really felt like if there weren't enough pieces, then it wasn't brought to us. And, you know, we were told, hey, you may see this next month because we don't have everything we need. And just the preparation and the work that's gone into that, the passion that's behind your office is very evident to bring justice for Wood County, you know. I know you mentioned children. I know you have your own. Can you talk about the passion behind children with where you're at in your position as the district attorney?
Yes, anybody that's known me for very long knows that I guess my hot button topics are children and child abuse. I've had the privilege of speaking at the Candlelight Vigil in Wood County a couple of years, and that's really where my heart is. I've handled children all the way from 3 years old all the way up to teenagers that have been abused, and it's just heartbreaking. And so if I can do a small part to try to stop the abuse and to bring awareness to the public of what child abuse looks like, especially educators, what to look for, what are the signs of it, then we as a community can come together and try to put an end to it.
Absolutely. Can you talk to us for a second about the importance and the heaviness of this early voting that starts on Monday?
Yes, so I'm encouraging everyone to go vote that first week if possible. Quitman has a new elections office with a big nice parking lot, and you can get in and out without standing in a lot of lines. And plus you never know what'll happen on election day. You may get held up, but it's just easier to get in and out by voting at the elections office.
Right. And so while we're having this interview, we've posted on this group for Wood County women for you and to keep you as our DA. Can you talk about the importance of women voting in our county?
Yes, well, I wanted to thank you, Amanda, for starting that. It was your initiative, and it really blew me away. And the support on that group has really just been so amazing to me and so encouraging. You may have seen them. There's a group of ladies that we call the red shirt ladies, and they literally show up at so many things for me. Most of them are women, and they get out there and they really encourage their friends to be educated on the issues and the candidates, and really to just get out there and let your voice be heard in the ballot box.
Right, absolutely. You know, and there's been a huge influx of new people moving in. Our districts are growing. We have a lot of younger families. And I know sometimes, you know, people my age or younger, they don't see the importance of these local elections, but they are so important because it does bring the justice that we see every day on the streets or things that are hidden to what we need to keep our community safe. And so, as a young woman, as an educator, as being educated myself, you know, I would like to encourage all the women to get out and vote and, you know, go on Valentine's Day, you know, make that your date if you need to, but to get out and to vote because it really does matter. Can you tell us a little bit about, I know that you have an opponent in this race. Can you tell us the difference between yourself and the opponent and why it is important for us to consider you for keeping you for our district attorney for Wood County and what that means to you?
Well, in my last election just 2 years ago, I talked about my key word was experience matters back then. And this time my catchphrase is integrity matters. And if you don't have, you can have somebody that has all the experience in the world, very educated, very well liked, but if they lack that integrity, that ruins it all. Without integrity, there's no trust, there's no honesty, and I would just advise that I'm the candidate with integrity. It's been proven. I have the support of so many great people. I've been at meet and greets. I was at one last night where some of my local heroes, Sam and Martha Scroggins, and Jim and Sally Attaway, Sharon and Jerry Brooks, and Karen and Stephen Margos are backing me. Also, all four of the commissioners, former Judge Boswell. These are people with integrity that I admire, and so they have put their name behind me, and that means a lot.
Absolutely.
And so I would say integrity matters, experience matters. Just yesterday I was blessed to get the endorsement of Governor Abbott again, as well as Congressman Lance Gooden, State Senator Brian Hughes, and Representative Cole Hefner. And so if you look at all these people, they're putting their name on the line behind me, and that means and says a lot.
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate your time. Is there anything else you want to leave with us, or any maybe,
I just am honored to be here. I'm honored to serve the public, this great county where I've raised my children for the past 14 years in this position as district attorney. And I don't take that lightly. I see it as a calling. And for that reason, I'm going to continue to do my job with integrity. And I just ask for your vote. I ask that you make your voice heard, and you start by February 14th, Monday. The elections office will be open at 8 o'clock. Drop by there. And I just would appreciate your vote and your support.
Well, thank you so much for your time. I know this was kind of impromptu, and we've had a cozy little place to meet and just get to kind of catch up and talk. And thank you for answering all of these questions. And I know there may be more. So if you're joining us on Facebook Live, please just put your questions there. And I know Angela is very active on the page, and she would be happy to answer your questions. We try to keep everything very positive, and I know that she's also, if you have questions, you can inbox her, and she's a great asset to our community and to our county, and we just appreciate you joining us tonight. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Miss Albers, are you all right with them throwing me out of the public meeting? How about you, young man? How do you feel about them throwing me out of the public meeting?
I gotta head to my car, sir.
Wow. You be safe, Miss Albers. The police are watching out for you. Hey, officer, you still got your body cam on? Miss Albers, would you like to speak about them throwing me out? Miss Albers? Miss Albers? Guess not. That's a no, isn't it, ma'am? Kind of like you didn't want to talk. Be safe, ma'am. Miss Albers? Wow. Now the judge, Hebron and Kevin White are at the table.
I did not at the beginning.
Wow.
No.
Not y'all's policy? Hey, Mr. Beatty, they throwed me out of another.
I'm sorry.
Hey, wait.
Sir, I'm not speaking with you. I am
you got
not.
your body cam going?
I do, but I'm
Where
not
did
speaking
turn
with
it
you.
on? Did you see the lady back there in the corner just?
These were questions that I asked at the last one to each of the candidates for commissioner. So I'd like you to address that. To me, it's very important to know that at least one person has an issue with the climate and accountability. No.
There's an individual who.
Anyway, thanks very much.
Hey, Judge,
No, it's not. It's just Kevin.
do you happen to get my invite sent to
And
you?
I'm gonna tell you, well, I don't want to be recorded while I'm saying this.
Well, we're in public.
I know, but you're having a conversation with me.
I'm having a public news conversation with
Well, then
you.
we're not.
What are you scared to talk about on a camera?
Nothing about that. I just,
Don't you think you as a public official would
I'm not.
give interviews? Well, you're running to be one.
And when I am, I'll do a public interview.
Oh.
You're you with a newspaper or
Lone
something?
Star News.
Okay, so that's why you're taking a video of all of us here?
No, I'm not really, didn't want y'all in it. I was trying to get the speakers and the candidates what they had to say.
Okay.
Y'all go on YouTube, Facebook? I don't really either, but I do for Lone Star News. Do you go on YouTube?
Is that where it is? That's where
We're on
it's published?
YouTube, Gab, all the social media sites.
That's
Newspapers
why I haven't seen it.
newspapers are kind of a dinosaur these days. You know, it won't
Yeah.
be long before they'll see you in.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Which one? The young man? Well, I hope not, but he's probably right.
What I'm worried about is they're gonna vote for your phone without you.
Well, that's what's going. That's why some of these candidates I voted as a Republican for the last two. And Pelosi says he needs to
Mr. Brent,
Hey, Judge, can I have
are you Mr. Brent?
3 minutes with you?
Yes,
I'd
how
like
are
to
you?
nicely interview you, if you didn't mind, about.
Well, it depends. What are you going to ask
It's
me?
pretty simple. Nothing bad. I'm not here to attack you. I was
Can I
gonna.
have my lawyer here?
Sure. Is that him? Which one? Both of them?
This one here.
He's your attorney?
He's my attorney.
Oh, I might ought to
That's
get
right.
his card. I need a good attorney.
You treat her right or we'll just sue you to
I
death.
have no problem. I have no problems with Miss Hebron. Mr. Ecker.
Yes.
Hey, this is Michael Brent, sir. I called your office Monday and spoke with Carrie Perkins.
Okay.
I don't know if she gave you the message or not, but I'm sure you're busy and I hadn't heard anything back from you. My name's Michael Brent. I've got Lone Star News. Did you get my message?
Yeah, something about the courtroom.
Yeah, it's just a simple question. I had been told by Judge, and I don't know if I'm pronouncing her name right or not, the county judge, is it Hebron?
Yes.
That once you walk through the security, that no filming is allowed. And I understand there's no filming in the courtrooms, but she had told me that you were over the courthouse grounds is the reason I'm calling you.
Well, I'm over maintenance of the facility.
Right. You're not over the rules of conduct on the grounds?
No. What they do is, because the size of the courthouse is small, and they have a full district court there and a county court going on a lot of times at the same time,
Yeah.
that they basically deem the hallway part of the courtroom.
I understand.
They witnesses and lawyers, people out in all the halls, and I've seen it where they were sitting on the floor out there,
Who was sitting on the floor?
Just whoever's in and out, they're waiting on court. There may not be enough chairs, and like I say, they consider the hallways part of their courtroom.
Well, I know they do, but the reason I wanted to talk to you is when we've got district clerks and county clerks and even your office, not just yours only, but the commissioner's office and things along those lines separate from the court, it's not really our fault that they're all located in a small courthouse. We have already deemed that anywhere that's a public space that I can walk into, I'm not talking about restricted areas, but areas that are open to the public, the foyers, the lobbies, the corridors, where you've got your paintings and stuff hanging up in the history of the courthouse, if a citizen can see that, they have the right to record it.
Well, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not going to argue with it. And, if you want to present a case to the district judge and to the county judge, have your lawyers talk to our lawyers.
Right.
If it goes to court somewhere and some bigger judge makes a ruling, then we'll see what happens.
Well, I was hoping maybe y'all would look into it before that has to happen. I really don't want to have to go to...
Well, that's kind of where we stand on it. This time, if the judge is saying it's one thing and somebody's saying something else, then there'll have to be another judge to decide it. So, where you look over.
So, me coming to the commissioner's court and presenting my side of it wouldn't help at all?
Well, you can present your side, but we can't make any comment. You're just there for public comment.
Yeah, but you could hear it and maybe later on look into it without going to court?
Oh, well, turn it over to the attorney.
Which attorney?
The county attorney.
County attorney? Well, she's the head of your commissioner's court, right?
No.
She's not.
The county judge, you don't even understand what's your...
I don't, sir. I'm not saying I do understand the commissioner's court. I hardly ever get to talk to him.
Okay. So the county judge is there for commissioner's court, but you also have legal court and civil court.
Yeah, I understand that much.
I just don't understand y'all's commissioner's court much. I've never been to one.
Well, we basically run the budget.
Right.
That's all. The commissioners are running the money of the county, the tax money.
Okay.
So we run the roads in Wood County. In some counties, you don't have to run the roads. They have road commissioners or an engineer runs the roads, but that's up to each county to choose how they want to do it. It has to be done by ballot.
Okay. So the county.
We took the roads, and then we oversee the money. We oversee the sheriff's money and the
Right.
office money, but we don't do any legal stuff.
The county judge is the one that presides at your commissioner's court?
Yes, but she also presides over legal courts.
Oh, of course. Yes.
No, she has two different jobs, really.
Right.
So, or whoever's in there. But then the district court, which most counties don't have, we have a complete district court for Wood County.
Yeah, I know Judge,
District.
yeah, I know. On the third floor, I know about that.
Yeah. And they have certain things that they go by, and they can do that is totally different.
Yeah, I understand the third floor is probably totally off limits, but with the county clerk and the district clerk and other offices other than the second floor.
So you got a clerk on each floor.
Okay.
So that makes all the difference in the world. So anything like this goes to the lawyers, and they take it to court somewhere, and then some higher up judge can decide.
Okay, well, I was just trying to contact you to see if we could keep it from having to go to court, but if that's our only option, I guess that's what'll have to happen.
That's just the way it goes, because the judges kind of rule down there, and then.
Well, they don't legislate, they're just there to judge.
Yeah. Well, they can make the rules for their area, so I'm not going to argue with them. Somebody else can argue with them.
Alrighty, well, I guess, what do I have to do to schedule to come? Do I have to, ahead of time, schedule to come and speak at your commissioner's court?
Yes, you have to get on the public comment.
Okay.
You have to file that in the judge's office.
Okay.
The county judge's office.
All right, Mr. Acker, I appreciate you chatting with me. I wished you'd have called a little sooner, but, I've called 5 or 6 times, and your office didn't even answer the phone yesterday.
I'm not in this office.
I know you're at the county barn. I'm talking about your office.
Yeah, well, there's nobody here. We're just in and out.
Nobody at the office?
No.
Huh.
Office help here. They're all working on the road.
Can I ask why the office is nobody there?
Money.
You
got to hire somebody to do that.
What about Miss Perkins?
She's down at the county. It's that office down there.
Yeah, you're not. I'm talking about the Carrie Perkins County Commissioner's office.
Yeah, that's in equipment. I'm in Winsboro.
I understand, sir. I called you at the barn, right?
Correct.
I'm talking about the 903-760-1007 courthouse office.
Equipment office.
No one's answering.
Well, she may be out of the office. I don't know. I'm 15 miles from there.
Sir, I'm just making you aware that I called 5 times. I've called 7 times and all.
Situation. And if you want to bring it to court, bring it to court.
You don't even care about that, do you?
Thank you.
Andy hung up on me.
Good morning. I'm Amanda Duncan, and this is Wood County Now. Today is International Women's Day. It's being celebrated around the world, and this is also Women's History Month, in the month of March. And we're celebrating by interviewing female elected officials in Wood County. So women have always been very influential, not only in the home, but also in science and medical fields, in law enforcement, and in government. And today, we are celebrating with our second interview with Wood County Judge Lucy Hebron. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me,
us.
Amanda.
That's all, folks.